you today?
Uh, so there's many people who I am. I'm an American, you could say. I'm a male, you can say. I have a physical body, yeah. I have a subtle body, I have a causal body, like anybody else. Interiorly, we're all the same, no doubt. Exteriorly, we're all different. Differences is part of Mother Divine. All diversity, everything that is different, all experience in the world is due to Mother Divine. This theme of the Ramayana and the Navaratri is about diversity. Mother Divine, what does she offer us? What does she give us? So this theme is there. Everything you see is about Mother Divine. Everything you experience has more to do with your Father. Symbolically, much of this teaching comes out in different forms that everybody can understand. We use things that are common in the world and the earth to explain things. The Gita talks about this one power, Akshara Brahman, this supreme self, something above all this that we see. It can only be experienced. It is very much part of our life. Later in the Gita, in 14th chapter, it talks about Mahad Brahman. Mahad Brahman is related to the womb, to mother. It's the great womb in which my seed, the Father's seed, is put into. And from this whole manifestation comes out. They talk about that as Prakriti. Prakriti is that power that creates all diversity. It's the three gunas. Sarika mentioned this the other day. Purusha is that power that's always remains the same. Our experience of life is all based because of the mother. That mother is within each and every being. When Krishna talked about Mahad Brahman, he said every being has this at the core of themselves. It's a big question, what is at the core of each of us? In the 15th chapter, Krishna says that merely a tiny fragment of myself becomes the eternal living Jiva Bhuta, a life element. That is the core of our causal body. What is that? And what is that for? What is our experience of these two powers? There are two powers coming together. We call that I am, I exist, something like that. Every one of us has this feeling of I am. There's no doubt about it. Every human being feels I am. Spiritual life is understanding what I am is. That's all it is. What is I? What is am? I is individual. I is that tiny, tiny fragment of divinity, that medium, that womb of Mother Divine, providing a means for you to receive the Divine Father. Amness is about Father, all pervasive, beyond all this division. We are all one from that perspective. But division starts with his individual medium and how we think about that experience. What you think, what is I, what is am? I am that above, that supreme, or am I this and that? Spiritual practice is resolving this and that. Is your identity based in this and that? This and that means the material world, means all this diversity. Do you define yourself and go after it based on that? Or do you turn inward? Every person, the basic principles of meditation are three things. Focus, called dharana. Contemplation, called dhyana. And then attaining that, samadhi. These three principles are part of meditation. Every person's doing these three things, whether it's external based or internal based. This is your choice. This is the power that you have. Do I choose to go outward? I focus on something. I contemplate that again and again and again. I desire that. And then I go out and attain it. And I have it and hold it. Problem is, it's temporary. Nature changes. Nature modifies. You create your identity there, you feel lost. So you have, and then you don't have. And your identity shifts, is up and down and fragmented. It's a problem. We don't like loss. Fear of loss is at the base of many people's lives. That's called suffering. The other thing is, what is our focus internally? Can we know our mother and father? Can we understand all the gifts that the Divine Mother has given us? You talk about Ashtabhuja, Eightfold Mother. Eightfold Mother are the 5 elements in your mind, intellect, and ego. And above that is this Jiva Bhuta, this individual-like element. So we have to understand these parts. Swamiji, when he taught us, he said, you Westerners really need to understand Sankhya. Sankhya is so important for you in practice, as this meditation practice that he taught us. And each element has a certain thing. They're real. In Sankhya theory, in the accepting the mother, there's nothing illusionary about it. These things are real, but they're temporary. It's a different thing. They have specific purposes, and each one is doing their duty. The whole teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is duty. The mind has a duty, the ego has a duty, the intellect has a duty. Each element performs this thing forming your body. Why do these particles hang out with you and performs different functions? They're doing their duty. That's it. We all have duty to do. And you can remain with itself, connected to that Supreme, without selfish motive. The whole teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is about relinquishing selfish motive, not running away from life, but participating in life without selfish motive. It's a great teaching. Renunciation, Krishna defines as that. Not what kind of cloth you wear, what kind of person you are, but about your motive. Really, really important. So this fragmented divinity, we have to learn to rise up to that point and purify that basic womb that birth takes place in. So they use this in devotional terms that talk about mother and father. And this whole thing that God is our mother and father. But one aspect is this motherly form, like Mother Goddess, and the other one is the father, which is a seed. And those two things form this tiny, tiny little child within this medium. And each of us has that experience, and the first experience of that is bliss. Absolute bliss, and we've all had that experience sometime at the beginning of stepping up into a human being. We can self-realize that. And when that experience happens, then we lose it. Somehow it becomes covered. Katha Upanishad talks about there's a shadow created by that medium. The shadow is this sense of I, this power of individuality. But what is that is what we need to understand is a gift of Mother Divine. It's a receptor. It allows for us to receive divinity and feel the qualities of that Supreme Self within us. And this is what we need to work on. And this should be, and is, as Guruji always told us, this is the purpose of human life. You can choose anything you want. No doubt about it. It is your choice. Free will is there. But the goal of human life is to realize that experience of how you're participating in this divine manifestation, and we are all on the same journey together. No matter who you are, what sex you are, what gender you are, what you believe, we're all in this together. I think that's enough for a minute.
Thank you very much.